Very good. All right, well, let's get going. Hello, everybody. Thank you so much for joining this webinar sponsored by ListedKit. We're really excited to have Phil Sexton here to talk to us today. Veteran of the industry, a devotee of real estate tech. We're really excited to hear how you're seeing AI move inside of the real estate industry. So yeah, we're here to talk about the impact of AI in real estate. Really quickly, my name's Trevor. I am the director of product, working with the ListedKit team. It's my job to listen to all of you as you're using our product, to understand how we need to improve things, new features we need to build, just how we can create a more powerful and really special experience for you guys. But you're not really here to hear from me. Let's kick it over to Phil, if you don't mind introducing yourself.
Yes, thank you, Trevor. Phil, my name's Phil Sexton. I am yeah, I've been running a real estate team for the last 13 years. Got my license in 2006. And so between being in the marketing department for brokerages in the corporate office to being on the streets and in the trenches, lead generation, teams operations, in the last 13 years, our team sold $2.8 billion worth of real estate. So we've been repeatedly ranked number one in the Phoenix metropolitan area for production. And my experience comes from playing with tech. I think I bought a book on CSS from Barnes and Noble in 2007, and that helped me build a blog back then.
Yep.
And then real estate agents would start asking me questions like, how do I use Facebook? And what's a website? And can I generate leads? And that led me down a path that ultimately led me here today, right? To have a conversation with you guys and to chat about ListedKit. So thanks for having me. Appreciate it.
Yeah, no,
Excited.
we're so glad to have you. So again, we're here to talk about AI and how it's impacting the real estate industry. My team and I, we work with AI every single day. Like we are in the trenches. I've got Claude code running in the background. I've got ChatGPT up. I mean, I'm just using everything all the time. But we kind of forget that like that's just germane to what we do, right? We're like steeped in it all day. So I'm actually really interested to hear, it's Q4 2025. Everybody's doing their budgets and planning for the next year. Like, where are you seeing AI impact the real estate industry? Like, where are sort of the hot spots, right, on the heat map, where you're seeing things really start to move from AI, and like what should we be aware of in the next like 6 months or so?
Yeah, good question. So I think that AI in real estate started with the most simple thing ever, and that is, can you help me write a property description? Like, what are the public remarks that I should add to the MLS? Because, I just never know if I should start in the entryway and walk myself through the remarks the way that I physically walk through the house, or if I should start with something flashy and then talk about the mundane. Like, what's the best way to do this? So real estate agents, as soon as they could hand that over, it seems like that was step one. And if you zoom out from that, that really is in the realm of marketing. And I think that's where we've seen the majority of AI get started in real estate is how can real estate agents use it to help create content, whether that's social media posts, if it's obviously captions for Instagram pictures that you're going to share. But now we're starting to see some agents get creative and use the video avatars and do some voice cloning. And there's I mean, some of the AI companies that I've looked at, that I use, that I've interacted with, like Rejig, that now has AI that is sending content to the agents to say, post or not post. Do you want to schedule this or not? And it's so good and it's so custom. And we kind of have gone away from, I guess if we look at the iterations of where tech has been and where is going is, we used to build these follow-up campaigns and these action plans that would send the same thing to everybody on this interval of time. And now we have the ability for custom content to be created for each different person. And it can still be delivered at these different intervals of time, but now it just is more relevant. And it's almost gotten, man, so good that now this like you're seeing an uprising of the proof of humanity, where now people, yes, here's some AI content, and it's so great that we can automate this, but I'm really a human over here. Like, what can I do now online and in my marketing to prove to them that I'm not just an AI bot, that I'm real? And where I see this going in the next 6 months is actually the exciting part. Is You got too many people. Like everybody understands that I would like AI to come in and just do everything for me, like my laundry, the dishes, run my real estate business, have the clients show up, have checks. Just I would like money to be deposited in my bank account, and AI does everything else. Is that fair? I think that's what everybody wants.
That's literally what everybody wants. Yes.
Yes, exactly. And the reality is as you start to look at some of these different AI tools that are coming out and you're hearing these developers with some of these promises of what they're able to do, and then you get into it and you start using it, it's really, we're not there yet. You hear all of the big chat GPT, whatever version we're on when you're watching this, whether it's 5 or 7 or 10, you see the new version of chat GPT is going to make everything doable, what we thought was going to be doable back here, but wasn't quite there yet. And yes, it's moving fast, but it's like, at what point are we going to get to where AI is helping real estate agents make more money? That's the piece that I'm curious on because I still see a lot of virtual assistant companies that help offload the cost. But where I think we're going is, especially with ListedKit, the fact that you guys can take an exact procedures of what agents are doing in their business, and now you can look at it from the development side and say, can I help with this one aspect?
Hmm.
And let me see if I can put tech into this one piece, like transaction coordination, where like let's see if we can use tech in order to read this contract and then be able to come back with suggested intervals of communication to a client based on the details that were in the contract. Now we're talking about stuff that's helpful, and we're not just selling, oh, AI is going to do everything. Look, what if we use AI to do this one piece? And that's what I'm kind of excited about with what you guys are building at ListedKit.
Yeah, and you've put your finger on it. That's actually the hard part, right? It's actually getting workflows and the steps in a workflow strung together in a way that's coherent and that doesn't have a lot of errors, that doesn't hallucinate. I think a lot of folks, when they're using AI products, especially, I mean, it makes sense. They're not in the industry. They don't work with software all the time. It's very technically difficult still to make that happen. So as we're building ListedKit, like that's been what's been so impressive and so fun to work on is we're actually seeing these workflows start to come together. And it's not always perfect. Sometimes it's a little rough around the edges, but it's getting the job done. And we're really excited to expand on that. Our philosophy is really kind of taking one workflow at a time, right? So we kind of focus on one thing, try to polish that, go to the next thing, try to polish that. So I would expect to see more and more of these sort of coordination workflows start to pop up in ListedKit as we continue to build out the product. So,
And I think just to be fair, one of the challenges that you have is that there's a lot, I would go with the majority of real estate agents out there don't have their workflows built out either. They just make it up as they go through it. And so that makes it challenging to put tech on top of it because now you've got to build a structured system. And yes, it's rough around the edges, but even the teams that are powered off of checklists, which I know very large teams that do a ton of business, and they literally have checklists that are printed out that are attached to files that they are writing check marks on to say, yes, this got done. Yes, this got done. And then they have extra lines for things that have come up because it's unique to that transaction. And that's, I think, why even though AI has been around now for years, we haven't seen it wasn't so fast to just come and replace a transaction coordinator, for
yeah,
example. In fact, I introduced my transaction coordinator to ListedKit,
yeah,
and she was like, and I introduced it to her as this transaction coordinator. First of all, she's fantastic. She's wonderful. She's been with us for years. She works with not just me, but a lot of agents that are on my team. And so um, I didn't want her, I'm not trying to replace her. And so I presented it to her to help her understand that she could actually do a lot more. She could have a lot more clients if she leveraged tech like this
yep,
than than me. Like, I'm not ready. I think as we look at kind of some of the steps of technology deployment in our businesses, it's I do, we do, you do, right? And I'm still in the I do phase. The we do is let's have some human interaction that is built in to make sure that tech isn't going crazy. And
yeah,
after we can be here for a while, then maybe we can get over to the you do phase. But right now, you guys built your tool to have the human involved. And like,
yep,
you don't do stuff automatically. I'm sorry, it does do stuff automatically, but then it brings it back to the human and says, good.
yep. That's exactly right. And that's, it's interesting that you said that. And I think that's one of the dangers, or not the dangers, one of the risky areas of getting into really any industry with artificial intelligence and starting to automate. There's a big fear that it's like, am I going to be replaced? Our philosophy, and I actually was just listening to like one of the luminaries of the early venture capital landscape out in the Valley, talking about how seeing a lot of these companies laying off people because the AI can do this, this, and that. I agree with him entirely when he says that's wrong. Really, the people that are actually going to do a really great job with this technology are actually going to let AI help them do more. How can I take my team, give them these tools and expand my business, not just cut my costs down, not just cut my people down, but like actually like you should be focusing on expanding more homes, more deals, right? You have a TC that's, struggles under the weight of 20 transactions. Now this TC is handling 100 transactions at a time. Like you can just like exponentially grow the business. And that's really what we see happening as well in the industry is it's just that opportunity to really take what you've got and just like pour gasoline on the fire, which is really cool and really exciting. But I do get that. We do hear occasionally those fears like, oh, is this going to replace me? Let me tell you, I'm building these products with my team. I am just as at risk of that as anyone else. But I have seen the fact that we talked about today, the number of projects that are on my plate. Like I can't do that without AI. And my boss knows that. We're just cooking on our team. So I see the same thing happening with real estate. Yeah.
Yeah, it's funny the conversation of where's the line, right? Where's the line? And I joke, and forgive me if I feel too cold, if this is too cold, but the line is the line. I'm okay. I think that the majority of people would say the line's right before my job.
Could be. Yeah.
I'm okay if they replace the marketing person that makes flyers for me. I'm okay if they replace this person that does this for me. Oh no, no. Okay, there's the line. Okay, no, no, no. Don't
Yeah.
take me. The realtor is still needed. The realtor is
Yeah.
still needed. And it's absolutely true, right? The realtor is going to be empowered to do more
Mhm.
than what they've done in the past. And an agent, I think that the value of an agent increases tremendously when they do more transactions because then they see more trends faster, they see more problem solving skills, like
Agreed.
everything. I don't know. I think that they're better agents when they get exposed to more transactions, and AI and the technology evolution that we're in right now, which is like the renaissance of our age, is gonna
Mhm.
is gonna make that is gonna make that is gonna allow that to happen.
Yeah, it's really exciting stuff to be a part of. So we've been really, really grateful and really excited to see the progress that ListedKit's made. But that kind of brings me to my next question for you is like, you're working with teams that are doing very, very high volume, right? You've got a lot of throughput, even in what has arguably been a somewhat difficult market the last couple of years. Where do you see like operations breaking down right now? And specifically, where do you see those opportunities in the workflows for AI to really kind of punch in there and take some of that pressure off and really enable these teams to like move so much faster and handle so much more volume?
Yeah, so last year our team did 405 transactions. And so just to put it in perspective, um, where do I see that falling off? Where do I see technology being able to help? As you know, I mean, as we all know, one of the challenges with a lot of humans is this C word, consistency. And I think that when you're building out any business, like our business, really not any business, let's just stick to real estate. A real estate agent has 150 things or 350 things that they do. And let's just say that one particular process that we pick on has 15 items in that process. When you're in it, you have these aha moments of being able to add an additional element to that process. So now that 15 process thing of showing houses might turn into a 18 item process. And it's really hard to do all 18 items every single time you get that opportunity. And I think that that's where like the fall off is for the human, and where technology is going to be able to come into play is because how can I integrate tech in a way that I've got the workflows built, right? I don't want tech. One of the fallacies that I have is I'll go to ChatGPT and I'll ask it to build me out a buyer checklist. Like as a
Mhm.
real estate agent, you give it the directives. We've all been to prompting classes, or we've heard these prompting people talk
Yeah.
where they're, tell it exactly who they are, that they're an expert in this and that they're a top agent and the most innovative agent in the world and they're in Phoenix. And what is your buyer checklist look like? And so
Yep.
it comes back with these prompts. The problem with that is it's just so cold still, and it's not you.
Yep.
So, yes, it's easier to edit than it is to create. So we take that and we edit it. But I think that where I'm excited of where AI goes is that I'm able to almost create these, I'm able to bring in my custom personalization of me, the human, and keep that human element involved. But then I have AI that's able to help make sure that I don't have those three extra items that fall off. How do I make sure, how can technology make sure that I'm providing, it's almost cliche to say white glove service, but there's a standard of care that I want to make sure that I hit every single time. And so where I want AI to assist is making sure that all of those things are done. And I think that it
Yep.
goes beyond just setting up workflows. It's, getting into the agentic world of what can
Hmm.
it um how can it make it faster so that I
Yep.
can get it done? And yeah, I mean, not
I
to obviously I'm a listed kit fan, otherwise I wouldn't be here. But the fact that it is auto drafting things that I can just click a button, I can modify if I want, otherwise I can push is great. And where I think that that's going to continue to evolve is I got to make sure that I'm giving personalized love and attention.
Yep.
And I often joke, sorry, I know I cut you off, Trevor. I'll let
You're
you.
good. Go ahead.
I have sometimes I run, sometimes my mouth just runs.
We're here
My
to learn
apologies.
from you. Go ahead. Yeah.
Yeah. Um, I joke that once AI can automate personalized love and attention, then we've made it.
We're cooked. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And we're cooked. Exactly. If I can interact with my wife, I'm sorry, if my AI can interact with my wife and she doesn't know if it's me or my AI, danger zone, man. Danger
We're
zone.
in dangerous territory there. Well, I can safely say we're not terribly close to that yet. Who knows what the next few years has to hold for us. But you mentioned something there about consistency, which I think that's really insightful. Actually, what a lot of people don't know about me and my career is I actually used to be a chef. I used to run restaurants. Um, and one of the things that I would tell these culinary students that would come out of culinary school and they get into my restaurant and they'd be like, I'm tired of making grilled cheese. And I was like, the job is to do the thing over and over and over again with consistency. The people don't show up for the sandwich that they love or the salad that they love to be different every single time. The job is consistency. And that consistency is actually what creates the backdrop on which you can actually give that kind of personalized attention. So I think you're spot on, and sort of how we envision Listikit playing in the spaces is sort of a 1-2 punch, right? Where it's like it's hard to be very, very personalized if I'm worrying about 30 or 40, 50 different like checklist items that I have to, just mark off the list. Because when we hire a realtor, I've bought one house in my life, right? I want that person to be there to answer my questions. I want that person to be there to like talk me off the ledge when I'm just, I'm getting cold feet, when things are just kind of the transaction is kind of starting to go off the rails. I had like the probably one of the worst experiences buying my home, and my realtor like actually kept things together. It was pretty rough. So with Listikit, we can automate a lot of those rote tasks, those checklist items, so that the people that are using the software can really focus on the places that like humans really shine, right? Where we can give that really personalized attention, that really special touch to that experience, because it's a relationship business. So we envision that being able to assist with that. So yeah.
No doubt. And
Hmm.
I thought you were going to get all the way to what was in my mind, and that is to get like I want my technology to empower me to be able to be out there meeting people face to face.
Exactly. Yeah.
Because there's no doubt, like the proof of humanity is more important than ever. And still, you have to look at like what AI is able to do, where you question whether this is real or not. Obviously,
Mm.
the written word, now I question whether that's real or not, right?
Sure.
And I mean, arguable, everything is real. I get that, but it just questions me whether a robot wrote this or a human wrote this.
Yeah.
You get into some of the social media content now. I mean, obviously, even when you have the government that is creating these fake videos and things that they're putting out as jokes, even though it looks real, you start to
Hmm.
question whether that's real or not. So it's hard. I want to make sure that my clients know that I'm sincere. And am I able to create fake sincerity? Like that, it's almost this oxymoron where
Yeah.
yes, I'm able to call things out that are fake, but when I'm meeting with somebody face to face right now, there's no doubt in their mind that I am not AI, that I am still a real person. And so that proof of humanity, like what I want AI to do is to not just help me manage the transactions, but I want it to help put some appointments on my calendar so that I can literally go from a meeting to meeting to meeting to meeting to phone call to phone call to meeting to meeting, where it's just like proof of human, proof of human, proof of human is still needed in all of those. And so that's
Uh,
like the biggest white space I see, and what I'm hoping AI does over the next 5 years is helps me have more human interactions with people rather than processing stuff.
Yeah, I love that. I think that's spot on. You kind of touched on this a little bit earlier, and I think this is related because there's a lot of these tasks and workflows that are getting eaten by some of the AI tools that are on the market now. So the question, and we run into this a lot. So I'm genuinely interested in your response here. Is like, how do we handle like the people problem, people that are skeptical of working with AI, working with these products? I see it all the time. Believe it or not, the place where AI is making one of the biggest impacts in our industry is writing code, right? It's software engineering, right? You would be surprised at how resistant, or maybe you wouldn't be, software engineers are to using some of these products. Once we get them across the line, though, once we get them to use it, they're like, I don't know how I did this any other way. This is amazing. I'm having more fun than I've ever had, right? So, in real estate, are you seeing those kinds of reactions, and how are you kind of helping sort of navigate that conversation of I'm deeply skeptical, or I feel a little threatened, or oh, I don't need this? Yeah.
It's funny, and I don't mean this to sound too cheeky, but that's not my problem. You
Yeah.
know what? Like when I got into this business, I was the director of marketing for a company in 2006. And at that point, there was a technology guy that on staff, he was an employee there, and he was in charge of the website. And
Mhm.
he knew HTML, and he wrote all the carets and all the codes and all the slash divs, whatever, in
Yeah.
order to make that website look the way that it looked. And
Mhm.
that's right around when WordPress became popular. And I said, "Hey, can we add a blog to your website?" "Oh no, blah, oh, no, uh-uh." I said, "Okay, is it okay if I start a blog over here on this website?" And he said, "Yeah, sure, that's fine." So I bought a new domain name, installed WordPress, and started blogging. When my traffic was greater than the company's main domain name, he then wanted to learn more about what tools I was using in order to create that.
Yep.
That's the same example of what you're talking about with your developers and what we're talking about with real estate agents is when, unfortunately, there's going to be early adopters. You know, the tech curves there. You got the early adopters, you got the masses that come afterwards after they see some of the people that are cutting their teeth on it win. And so that's what's going to fix this is you're going to have this group of this small groups of people that do tremendous amounts of business because they're leveraging this set of tools. And that when that happens, and then these people get on stage and they talk about what they're doing, what they're using, and whatnot, and people start to pay more attention. Now, maybe I should lean into that. Maybe I should do that. And it's hard, right? Like the horse is out of the barn, man. Like we're trying to say, oh, I don't want AI to do that. Oh, I get it. Where's the line?
Yep.
Right? Where's
Yep.
right before my job is where the line is. Yeah, I know. But like right now, I've got AI. There's AI software out there that's listening to all the phone calls and being the coach for the real estate agent on how they did at setting the appointment.
Yep.
And so now the team leader has less value because the team leader used to come in and coach those agents. Well,
Yep.
now the AI bot can coach those agents and the team leader can go do other things.
Yep. Exactly. Yep.
Where's the line? I'm actually doing an event with the Arizona Realtors in 4 weeks. And
Okay.
part of the dialogue coming into this event is us talking about just because you can doesn't mean you should.
Yeah.
And where's the line? And I think that everybody has their own version of where the line is. And um, unfortunately, the market is going to affect change, and that's consumer driven. And
Mhm.
how long do you want to watch that car drive faster using that new software before you say, maybe I should use that new
Yep.
software?
Yeah. We and honestly, that's a very similar experience that we have even inside of our company, right? What I tell people all the time is, you know, and this is tough for people that have been doing their job for a long time, people that have been there for 20, 30 years. Change is hard. Change is hard for
Okay.
anybody, especially if you're very entrenched. You've really built out your own workflows and your own processes and systems. But the thing I tell them is like, y- you you really need, like with any technological revolution, like you really need to learn the tools and stop treating them as a threat, right? Stop looking at them as something that's here to harm. Really learn to use the tools, and they're actually a lot of fun. So even as you're learning to do your work with these tools, you can do things like my wife and I are really big fans of wine. We both love wine a lot, and I turned 40 a few weeks ago. And I planned an entire trip. I hate trip planning. I planned an entire trip to the Willamette Valley in Oregon that was just magical. Loved it. And I did the whole thing with AI, right? Something I hate doing. Hate planning trips. I just want to show up. Did the whole thing with AI. It was so much. It was actually fun. Like I was able to send these chats and documents back and forth between my wife and I, and it was just like we really engaged in that process. So, I think that as much as I can encourage people on that is just to say, you know, try to step out of that sort of orientation of antagonism and maybe I'm a little threatened by this. It doesn't mean you have to like not feel that, but just try to put it aside for a minute and just engage with the tools, use them. And that's the other thing too is like AI does require use. It's not a one shot thing. Like if you just go to ChatGPT and ask it a question and get an answer, you're really not getting the value out of it. You need to spend some time with it and have a dialogue. Try some of these agentic tools that are out there. Like it's a lot of fun. You'll really learn to enjoy it. Yeah.
Yeah, you and I are on different, we have different motivations here in this argument, in this conversation. Your motivation is, let me try to convince the people that aren't using it they should use it so that they want to use ListedKit. And I'm like, it's okay if they don't want to use it. I don't need to convince them to use it.
Different sides of the same coin. Yeah, they'll get there
Yeah,
eventually.
yeah. I'm like,
100% correct. They will
at
get there. Yeah.
at some point, somebody's gonna be, somebody, you know what I'm trying to say is I
I
don't
do.
need, but like sometimes right now, I think that there's a lot of technology that is an advantage.
Mhm. There
And
is.
I think that agents have under promoted and under marketed what tech they use that powers their operations. Because I tell you, when I post a video of my AI avatar and I interviewed my AI avatar in 2023, I
Mhm.
got more play and more conversation started from displaying my ability to be tech forward
Sure.
than when I post a new listing on Choya or on Main Street,
Yep.
right? And so I still think that there's this competitive advantage that some of these tools have. And I think from a real estate agent standpoint, they're oftentimes underutilizing them in their call to actions and in their marketing to kind
Yep.
of showcase how they're different and why they're different.
Yep. Yep. I agree.
But
Go ahead.
no, I'm back to my original point, but I don't need to convince them to do that because then it's no longer different. And the problem with a guy like me is I have to look for them. Okay, well, what's the next thing that's different? What's the next thing that's different? So it's okay if I get to hang out here with Listed Kit and be different for a little bit longer. I'm okay with
Yeah,
that.
for sure. For sure. I love that. I do want to turn it to the flip side though. So, we've all heard like the horror stories of like people using AI gone wrong. Where have you seen mistakes made? Like with whether it's agents or TCs, brokers, team leads, using AI and maybe just doing a poor job of it. Like, do you have any examples of things where, hey, be on the lookout for this? Yeah.
You know, my mind's wired a little bit differently. And I think that the mistakes, I used to have a folder in my inbox called automation fails because I would get a Memorial Day email on 4th of July and I would just laugh and put that over I would keep track of those.
Yeah.
Now I'm kind of on a different path now. And I think, dude, I'm gonna mess up, right?
Hmm.
And I know that every failure that I have is getting me a little bit better at being better
Yep.
and at being an agent. And so now I've got like, I see things that's clearly AI done, and I think, you know what, kudos for them for trying it.
Yeah.
And I think the biggest mistake, I guess, if I were to just to answer your question, to give you an actual answer, is I think that the biggest mistake is people trying to play off AI as them. And I
Yeah.
think it's okay to like one of the reasons why I interviewed my AI avatar is so that I wasn't trying to pull the wool over anybody's eyes, right? Like I'm not trying to pretend that this isn't what it is. I'm leaning into what this is. And
Yep.
so like, on a transaction that I'm using ListedKit, you better believe that I'm going to be talking to my clients about the fact that I have an AI powered contract management system, right? And the fact that I have an AI powered transaction coordinator, the fact that this is cool, this is different. And you
Yep.
might see some hiccups, you might see a couple of things here and there, but don't worry. I still have my staff that is at the helm. And if we do have a hiccup, we'll make sure that anything
Yeah.
gets.
Hmm.
So I think that that's it. I want to maintain my authenticity. I want to maintain my integrity. And I think that if I'm trying to play off that this is something other than what it is, like I think that's the biggest mistake.
I actually could not agree with you more. Yeah, it is. It's a evolving technology, right? Sometimes it gets things wrong. Sometimes it hallucinates. We try to cut down on that, right? But it is hard because you're not working really in the land of sort of binary outcomes. You don't just give a command and then it does the thing. It's predictive, right? So it's a weird technology to work with. So I do the exact same thing, and I encourage our customers to do the exact same thing. Tell people you're using it. Most of the time, they're not going to bother. It's not going to bother them at all. In fact, it's going to be like, great. I love the fact that you can focus on these really important things for me while an agent is handling the stuff in the background. But trying to pretend that your AI work output is you is a little can be a little bit dicey. Yeah. So I agree with
Yeah.
that.
And I think also, there's creative, like the creative problem solving where the agent value really exists in how do we make sure that your messed up transaction, the way that the real estate agent is able to come in and in order to have creative problem solving to get that thing across the finish line. Like we don't have AI doing that yet. Right
Hmm.
now, AI is taking care of the fact that I need initials on this page, the fact that I
Yeah.
like the minor things that are like the checklist items that are really brainless is the wrong word, but you know what I mean, where
No.
it anybody could do it. Let's put it this way. The difference between an experienced agent and a brand new licensee is indistinguishable when these tasks get done.
Exactly. Yeah.
Why not have AI? Why not leverage AI in order to do those so that I can focus on the items where there is the distinction between experienced and non-experienced?
I love that. Yeah, that's exactly right. AI can do these things that aren't really differentiating for you, that don't add a lot of value, right? They have to get done, but they're not the reason people are hiring you, right? And you can really focus on doing the stuff that really does differentiate you. I mean, I don't know. I'm not an agent, but I have done a lot of different types of work, and in my experience, with a few exceptions, obviously. Mistakes are not nearly as impactful as how they are handled, right? For example, you need the human to go in there and just like really make you feel like you are heard and seen and understood. And like, that's just not something that AI is able to do right now. So maybe it will be eventually. I think we're on the path to that. But like right now, you these agents, these things like what we built with ListedKit and plenty of other tools out there. I mean, I could list a handful of them. Um, Let them do the things that don't make you shine, right? They don't make you look super valuable. They don't make you look amazing to your client. Let it do those things for you, right? Make sense? Yeah,
Yes, absolutely.
right.
Right there with you, same page.
Yeah.
One of
So
the things, one of the things that makes me shine is that I have a brother-in-law that makes wine in Sonoma. And so I'm going to refer you
lucky,
to
lucky you.
Lucky me is one thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
He was just here last week selling wine in Scottsdale and he said, "Hey, can I sponsor some of your real estate events?" I think I said yes before.
Do I need to pay you to do that? Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
That's oh, man, I'm jealous of that. Okay, so I know we're kind of getting to the end of our time. I want to kind of hit a couple of like rapid fire questions here. First thing is like, okay, somebody's listening to this. They really haven't dabbled much in AI. Where do they start? Like, where do you tell them to start?
Obviously, the reason why big technology is as um, common as it is, like email, for example. Email was started in business and it branched out to personal.
Yep.
AI is the same thing. AI starts in business, but it branches out to personal. And so now being able to do what you have done to plan a trip has nothing to do with business. It has everything to do with, can I leverage this technology to make me more efficient at all aspects of my life rather than just at work. And so I would say start, if you haven't started yet, then let's interact with ChatGPT and ask it some questions about your personal life. And one example is my wife and I had a debate last night in the car on whether our kids had Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday off school, or if it was just half day Wednesday. And so I
Oh,
went to ChatGPT and I didn't have to Google the school's calendar. I just had to go to ChatGPT and ask it the question, and it came back with half day Tuesday. We were both wrong. Half day Tuesday off on Wednesday. And so I love that I got that answer. That was a more efficient way. That was me dabbling and proving that, okay, I can trust. Of course, I'm going to go. I don't right now, but in the beginning, I used to go validate that. But on simple equations like that or simple questions like that, I no longer validate it because I've used it enough to where I've
yep,
built up this trust. Um, that's where I would get going if you haven't, is let's use ChatGPT and let's ask it some softballs. Let's ask it to write a property description, right? That's where most real estate agents have started. And that's like the gateway drug, if you will, of using AI, is having it help you write some captions for your Instagram ad, also an email for your database. One other thing that I say from stage when I'm talking to agents is, one thing that you should do as a real estate agent is you should go into AI and you should ask it how the real estate market is in your town. So if you live in Phoenix, say, how's the real estate market in Phoenix? If you live
yep,
in Sonoma, how's the real estate market in Sonoma? Let it come back and tell you how that market is. It's pretty impressive how good it is with different stats. But I'll tell you right now that that's what you don't want to say,
okay,
right? You have to try to figure out how you can prove your humanity and your experience. And if your experience and your answers to the questions of how's your real estate market aren't as good or different, they have to not just be as good as AI, they have to be better than AI.
yep,
If you don't know how to differentiate yourself from that, then your warning signs are going off right now.
yep,
Right. And so
yep,
if you don't use AI for executing tasks that help you make you better, then why don't you use AI the way the public might be using AI to research your industry and your business and what's going on in your business so that you can understand ways that you need to be better than what the computers are doing right now.
yep. AI, I tell people this a lot. AI is it's a very good average, right?
That's right. It's the new par
Yep,
for the course.
yep,
Like
it's a very good
we
average. Yep. And that is a good baseline for you, right? You can actually kind of pressure test some of your own responses to things, your knowledge of things. I think that's a really good point. Um, so we've talked a little bit about where you think things are going. What would surprise you? No, you're okay. In 2026, what would be a surprising outcome for AI? Something that you don't think it's going to be able to pull off, but you would be very surprised by it.
I have an answer ready for this question,
Mhm.
and I'm just trying to build a little bit of suspense. But I tell you, right now, showing homes is part security guard, part expert, part salesperson. It would be very interesting if I could, as a team, have a robot prepared to be at my listings.
Yep,
And that robot was able to monitor the activities, if I could have a robot showing houses, I would be surprised this year.
yep.
I
I
don't think that we're far off, but I would be surprised if that happened this year.
I actually that was my answer too. Yeah, the robotics
Oh,
piece
get out of here. No way.
the robotics piece is really interesting to me, and how the sort of the physical world and the software world start to mesh together. I don't I would be very surprised by that this year, but it would be very interesting to see it. And that's a whole other level of comfort, getting comfortable with things. But yeah, it is really interesting, and those kinds of things. Uh, Even for me, they do trigger a little bit of, "Oof, man, we are getting into some new territory here." But it would be very
Yeah,
surprising. I agree.
that would
Yeah.
be surprising. Here's a more realistic one
Mhm.
that I've now talked to one, two, three, four different people who either have already developed or are developing technology that is voice activated. So like you can
Yep.
call the phone number and I can interact with my CRM over the telephone now instead of at a web browser.
Yep.
And what's interesting to me is that the real estate agents don't do it. Like it sounds cool. It
Mhm.
is cool. You try it, it's way cool, and then you abandon it because that's not organic enough yet.
Yep.
on technology interaction, voice is not organic enough yet. And
Mhm.
so I would also, I guess I won't be surprised, but a more realistic thing, if we fast forward this conversation to a year from now, is how much more adoption the users have in voice interaction with tech.
Yeah.
Even though you got Alexa, even though you got Siri, you understand, like, even for me getting on this Zoom right now, I still used these and a keyboard for me
Hmm.
and a mouse
Yeah.
pad to click links. Like, I didn't just say, I'm not going to say it because I don't want my phone to talk to me, but I didn't call my robot by voice and tell them to start the Zoom for us to be on. And I think that I would actually also be surprised if we had, like, right now, the amount of voice interactions compared to the non-voice interactions is huge. So I would be surprised this year if voice interactions got to be the majority of how people interact with tech.
I actually really like that answer. And I would, if you're not aware of it, and if the folks listening are not aware of it, there are two tools. I know I'm here to represent ListedKit, but I have two tools that if you have not tried them, you should. We are all familiar with dictation, right? That's been around for a long time, but it's always been very clunky, right? Um, there are two tools, one called Whisper Flow, and the second one, it's Whisper, WHISPR Flow. Very classic tech move to remove a vowel, and that's your name. There's another one from a company that I love called Every. They're out of New York, but the name of the product is Monologue. And they are two dictation tools. And let me tell you, it's a little uncomfortable when you're in an office setting, right? Because we're not used to just hearing people talk to their computers. But especially if you work from home or if you have an office, you will be shocked at the speed improvements in just doing your work that a really, really smart AI powered dictation tool gives you. It's unbelievable. I do a lot of coding, right? I do a lot of prototyping and building sort of like what we call proofs of concept, right? So, like things that I'm not going to ship to users, but I want to test it internally, right? I'll sit in a little phone booth like this and turn on monologue and talk to Claude Code, and just it's like it like cuts the time in half just from not having to type. I'm just having a conversation. Very cool. I really think that everybody should try them. So I know I'm again, I'm here to represent ListedKit. It's not a competitor to ListedKit, obviously, but that is one tool that I would encourage everybody to try. Dictation tools powered by AI are pretty awesome.
I just wrote both of those down, so thank you. And a very, I'm a realtor. I'm not a techie. I'm a techie realtor, but you know what I
Yeah,
mean. The difference
sure.
between you and I is a lot.
Yeah.
I went to ChatGPT because I went to the Lake Havasu Association of Realtors to MC the installation of their new
Yep.
president of their association. And so
Mhm.
I was driving in the car for 3 hours and I put on the voice chat and I was talking with chat. And it was
Yep.
really the longest interaction I had back and forth. And she helped me hone in some of my jokes of what
Yeah.
I was going to say for this MC gig. And what was great is when I got to the hotel room before the event, I could review the notes that we had there, and it was all in writing to work on it a little bit more. And
Yeah.
yeah, that was the longest I interacted via voice with anything. To hear what you're doing is cool. I got to check those out.
Again, the who knows, Faye might get mad at me, but I just love talking about these tools. The other thing is, like, you guys in the real estate industry, whether you're a TC, you're an agent, team lead, broker, you're juggling a lot, right? You've got a number of different transactions in flight at any given time. Those all have different task lists associated with them. And one of the things that I've always found really, really helpful is so what you're describing is sort of they have the voice mode where you're getting back and forth, which is fantastic. But even just the dictation, just where I'm saying something and it's transcribing, like just getting in my car and talking to it and saying, here's what's in my head. Please help me make heads or tails of this. And like organizing the things I need to do that day. Hey, I have access to your calendar. It does have access to your calendar. Did you forget about this? Make sure you're aware of this. Like just using that sort of like a virtual assistant that's just like there to help you sort of make heads and tails of all the jumbled stuff in your head. Because you know as well as anyone, when you have a lot of projects at once, it does get a little bit crowded in there. So I found that to be very, very helpful as well. So yeah.
Nice. Good,
So
good.
all right. I know we're pretty much at the end of our time here. I, as just want to say thanks again. This has been a great conversation. I love talking to people uh, in a lot of different industries. Real estate's been so much fun to work in. We've learned so much, and we're really dependent on folks like yourself to hop on and chat with us and just help us even do our jobs better when we're building software for people like you. Any parting thoughts? Anything that I haven't asked that you want the listeners at home to know?
Let's see. This is not AI powered, that we are both humans. And
Yeah,
if
yeah,
I think those are my only parting thoughts is
yeah,
right now, these talking head videos, especially online, I question every single one of them if they're real or
sure.
not. And I
We
guess
are
if it's an
we're
AI
real.
bot, I would say I was real. But anyway, this is no, I don't have parting thoughts. I think that this space is going to be. I think that software development has gotten increasingly simplified with the use of AI, and that's only going to help drive down the costs of some really what used to be complicated things. And everybody knows it. You guys know it. The CRM providers know it. I think that everybody's kind of empowered right now with building their own software because AI has made it simpler. And so to see you guys focus on one particular thing and really become best in class on one aspect of the business, I think is really smart. So I'm excited, thank you for building it and reaching out to me and including me in some
Of
of
course.
the early stages of it. And I'm using it right now, and my transaction coordinator is using it right now. So let's continue to make progress, make it better, and be best in class, man.
That is what we're here to do. Well, and I will also remind everybody, obviously, if you want to try ListedKit, you can go to listed.kit.ai. We have a free trial with one transaction. You can get the feel for it, upload it, see the AI magic in action. We're a small team too, so it's easy to get in touch with us. You may get on a call with me if you have a customer support request. You may get on a call with Faye or Karan. These are real people that will respond to your email and hop on a Zoom call with you. We would love to have you try it. We would love your feedback. It just helps us make a better product. But if nothing else, definitely get out there, start using these tools, get curious, have fun. They are a lot of fun. And hopefully we will see your names pop up on our Slack channel that says new trial created. We would love to see that. But otherwise, Phil, thanks so much. I really appreciate your time today.
Absolutely, Trevor. Fun conversation, man. Thank you.